as layers of enormous vortexes suddenly appeared above the demon spirit land. The sky seemed ready to split apart. The vortexes rapidly expanded until they covered almost the entire heavens, spinning like a terrifying storm descending from above. The dramatic phenomenon alarmed everyone in the demon spirit land, and countless people looked toward the sky in shock. Deep within a remote ravine in the wood demon country, where thick moss, heavy humidity, and morning mist normally covered the land, the remaining fog slowly dispersed beneath the rising sun, revealing a perfectly still pool resembling a mirror. When the heavenly vortexes appeared, ripples spread across the water, and a face gradually emerged from its center. It was an incomparably handsome demonic face with dark, sinister eyes, gazing at the sky. It revealed a demonic smile and quietly said that they had finally arrived and that it had waited a very long time for this day. On the opposite side of the demon spirit land lay a vast grassy plain filled with fragrant flowers. The faint fragrance calmed anyone from the demon spirit land who inhaled it, causing many tribes to settle there over countless years. Although the soul refining tribe had once expanded into the region, they discovered that soul flags lost much of their power there because the soul fragments inside feared emerging. And if forced out, they quickly dissipated. The tribe eventually abandoned the area. From above, the plain appeared ordinary, but any restriction master would be horrified because the entire region was covered by countless enormous restrictions capable of destroying the world if activated. Hidden beneath the grassland was an extremely ancient celestial realm transfer formation dating back to before the collapse of the celestial realm. Using a special method together with a token, it allowed entry into one of the 5 celestial caves. 4 celestial caves in the demon spirit land had already been discovered, while the 5th remained hidden and could only be opened after unlocking the innermost areas of the other 4 caves. The celestial cave connected to the formation was filled with abundant celestial spiritual energy, and everything inside was extraordinary. Although it possessed the aura of the celestial realm, it was empty, silent, cold, and lonely. Inside its winding halls and numerous pavilions stood a towering pagoda where a handsome young man with an immortal temperament calmly sat reading a bamboo scroll. Beside him was a cup of tea whose rising steam transformed into flowers before slowly dissipating. He occasionally sipped the tea while maintaining a calm expression. The instant the heavenly vortexes appeared, he put down the scroll and looked into the distance as though his gaze pierced through space itself. Before he spoke, a beautiful but slender woman wearing a light blue dress entered and quietly said that they had finally arrived. The man smiled warmly at her, saying they had waited for countless years and hoped their long preparations would finally succeed. She replied that they had planned carefully for so long that, as long as they remained cautious, there should be no accidents. The two smiled at each other affectionately, and the warmth between them seemed to dispel the cold loneliness of the celestial cave. They were the cultivation couple Wang Wei and Hu Wan, who had remained inside the cave ever since arriving there. Wang Wei then asked about the sword spirit. Hu Wan explained that the sword spirit possessed extraordinary determination and had already cultivated the immortal spirit method Wang Wei had taught him to the 8th layer. He was now on the verge of entering the 9th layer and would likely break through soon if nothing unexpected happened. Wang Wei nodded with admiration, pleased that his efforts had not been wasted. However, he admitted he remained puzzled about King Shuang. He wondered whether she was truly dead, because otherwise she could not have reforged the Rain Celestial Sword and turned someone into its sword spirit. Since the sword spirit refused to answer any questions and Wang Wei did not wish to disrespect King Shuang by forcefully searching his memories, he could only leave the mystery unresolved. Hu Wan softly suggested that perhaps King Shuang was still alive. At the same time, the appearance of the heavenly vortexes also caused a tremendous disturbance beneath the imperial palace of the Wind Demon country. Beneath the capital stretched an immense underground network of honeycomb-like caves connected by countless tunnels, all of which ultimately led to a gigantic central cavern beneath the imperial palace. Every cave contained countless blackish-purple skeletons that constantly emitted death aura. The death aura produced throughout the underground network continuously flowed through the tunnels and gathered inside the enormous central cavern, which measured at least 10,000 feet across. At its center stood a towering stone pillar, and sitting atop it was a woman whose appearance had become horrifying. Her face was covered with countless ugly scars, and her arms were equally disfigured. Although the wounds had long healed, fresh blood surged into the scars every time she cultivated, making them appear like countless blood-red centipedes crawling across her skin. Beneath the pillar spread an endless sea of death aura, and streams of it constantly floated upward into the scars covering her body. Every infusion caused pain so intense that her body trembled violently, yet she always gritted her teeth and endured it without stopping. Filled with monstrous hatred, she cried out Wang Lin's name, declaring that every bit of this suffering had been caused by him. She swore that she wished she could devour his flesh to avenge her father and that, As long as she could kill Wang Lin, sacrificing her appearance and enduring endless pain meant nothing. This woman was Yao Shishui. She could never forget awakening within the demon spirit land and suddenly sensing through her bloodline that her father had most likely died after she was powerless to help him. That despair drove her hatred for Wang Lin to its absolute peak. To obtain revenge, she willingly abandoned everything she possessed. Knowing she lacked the strength to face Wang Lin, she sought the ancient demon of the Wind Demon country, enduring unimaginable hardships, humiliation, and suffering until she finally gained its recognition and entered the inheritance. She would never forget the ancient demon's promise. It would grant her enough power to achieve revenge. But in return her divine sense and soul would gradually be erased until she completely became its new body. Without the slightest hesitation, she accepted the bargain, declaring that as long as she could avenge her father, she was willing to pay any price. She continued absorbing the endless death aura before raising her blue right hand, whose sharp nails emitted a cold gleam, and mercilessly slicing open her own left arm. Intense pain spread through her body, making her tremble, but she remained expressionless because she had long become accustomed to such torture. Endless death aura immediately poured into the fresh wound until it gradually healed into yet another scar. Deep within her soul, she once again swore with overwhelming hatred that she would never let Wang Lin escape her vengeance. After emerging from the sky vortex into the demon spirit land, Wang Lin immediately sensed an overwhelming resentment coming from the Wind Demon country. The feeling vanished almost instantly. Situ Nan, Master Hollow Wind, the silver-clothed woman, the three Chen brothers, and Big Head appeared behind him. Except for Master Hollow Wind, it was everyone's first visit to the demon spirit land, and they looked around with curiosity. Returning to this familiar place filled Wang Lin with regret. Instead of heading directly to the celestial cave, he first thought of the soul refining tribe, which he had founded to fulfill Master Dun Tian's final wish. He wondered whether the tribe still existed and whether 13 was still alive. Thinking of 13 reminded him of Hu Pao. 13's unwavering loyalty stood in complete contrast to Hu Pao's betrayal. Wang Lin recalled charging alone into an army of over 100,000 soldiers to rescue them. Even if he had known Hu Pao had already betrayed him, he would still have made the same choice. He remembered declaring that cultivators pursued immortality and avoided calamity, but there were things that had to be done regardless of gain or loss. His goal was never simply to follow the heavenly Tao but to live without regrets. If he had not saved 13, then there would have been no meaning in seeking the Tao. After calming himself, Wang Lin took out the compass required to enter the fourth celestial cave and handed it to Situ Nan. He explained how to release part of the restrictions and slightly modified the cave token so that the cave spirit would not attack Situ Nan's group. Situ Nan understood that Wang Lin intended to visit old acquaintances, so he led Master Hollow Wind, the silver-clothed woman, the three Chen brothers, and Big Head into the celestial cave. Their task was to forcefully break every restriction until reaching the core. Unlike the caves explored by the All-Seer and Ling Tianhu, Wang Lin's cave still contained countless intact restrictions. Since Wang Lin still possessed the cave token, he could enter it whenever he wished while remaining in the demon spirit land. Once they departed, Wang Lin spread his divine sense across the entire demon spirit land with the power of his Nirvana Scryer cultivation. At that moment, the black stone statue worshipped by the soul-refining tribe emitted a black light filled with icy power. A mysterious force rose into the sky and merged with Wang Lin's divine sense. The black light rapidly expanded until it covered more than half the sky above the fire demon country. The soul-refining tribe was stunned. One person knelt first, followed by countless others. Soon the entire tribe knelt in excitement, shouting that the ancestor's spirit had manifested. Ouyang Hua looked toward 13 in disbelief. 13 trembled as he gazed into the sky, instinctively feeling that Wang Lin had returned. Ouyang Hua was overcome with joy. Although he respected Wang Lin deeply, his respect had always been accompanied by fear, which had prevented him from ever rebelling even as the soul-refining tribe grew stronger over the centuries. Through his divine sense, Wang Lin saw that the soul-refining tribe had expanded tremendously. However, what shocked him even more was the mysterious power that had merged with him. During more than 1,000 years of cultivation, he had never encountered such a force. As it fused with his divine sense, countless scenes flashed through his mind. Every image showed generations of soul-refining tribe members worshipping the stone statue with absolute devotion. Their faith was so complete that they would willingly sacrifice their lives without hesitation if commanded. The accumulated worship of millions of tribe members over hundreds of years had created this strange power that even Wang Lin could not understand. Wang Lin stepped forward and instantly appeared above the capital of the fire demon country. Looking down, he saw millions of people kneeling in an endless sea stretching across the land. Countless banners fluttered while the cries of innumerable soul fragments echoed through the world. The instant Wang Lin appeared, Every soul fragment screamed in excitement as though recognizing its true master. Ouyang Hua stepped forward, trembling with emotion, and respectfully greeted Wang Lin, welcoming the return of the ancestor. As more people looked up and saw him, they immediately recognized him as the very figure they had worshipped for centuries because the stone statue was carved in Wang Lin's likeness. Excited cries spread throughout the capital as everyone shouted that the ancestor had returned and had not abandoned them. Millions of soul refining tribe members welcomed Wang Lin together. Their deafening voices shook the earth and forced even the clouds to scatter. Wang Lin sensed streams of white energy emerging from every worshipper and flowing into the black stone statue, making it appear even smoother and more demonic. The overwhelming devotion of the tribe deeply shocked even him. 13 rushed through the crowd, knelt before Wang Lin, and loudly welcomed the ancestor's return. His words ignited even greater enthusiasm throughout the tribe. More white energy flowed from the people into the statue. Soul flags waved like a boundless black ocean as an unimaginable number of soul fragments emerged, covering the entire fire demon country in black mist. Looking over the crowd, Wang Lin recognized several familiar elders from his previous visit. Though he no longer remembered their names, he finally spoke 3 simple words: "I have returned." His voice spread across the entire soul refining tribe, and those words caused an eruption of celebration among millions of people. Amid their cheers, Wang Lin slowly descended and landed atop the walls of the fire demon country's capital. Returning once again after hundreds of years, Wang Lin's return caused great excitement throughout the soul refining tribe. He officially renamed the fire demon country as the soul refining sect. The sect now possessed millions of disciples, and when combined with the countless soul fragments controlled by its members, its overall strength was comparable to that of a rank 7 cultivation country. Looking at the sky, Wang Lin silently fulfilled the promise he had once made to Senior Dun Tian. He then distributed the complete cultivation methods of the soul refining sect to all disciples while keeping the hidden flaw that allowed him to reclaim their soul fragments whenever necessary. The disciples entered a period of frenzied cultivation. Wang Lin also left behind the complete 9-cycle celestial refining tactic, obtained from his 4th senior sister of the Purple Divine Sect, making it the forbidden spell of the soul refining sect. Although useless to him, the technique was an extraordinary celestial spell for the sect's disciples if mastered completely. Wang Lin then made another major decision. After placing numerous restrictions, he entered the treasure pavilion concealed within countless soul fragments. The treasure pavilion had always been sealed inside his body and could be entered with a thought. Since obtaining it, he had only opened it once before, when he temporarily released it on planet Water Spirit to reward Situ Nan. Wang Lin still remembered Situ Nan's astonished reaction upon realizing the treasure pavilion's identity and importance within the celestial realm. Situ Nan, who was rarely surprised, became filled with excitement after discovering the immense collection of celestial spells. Celestial spells were divided into low, middle, high, and top quality. Even complete low-quality celestial spells were enough to trigger fierce competition among cultivators, while complete middle and high-quality celestial spells could drive even Nirvana Shatter cultivators into madness. The treasure pavilion preserved most of the celestial spells of the Thunder Celestial Realm, and its highest floor contained not only Celestial Emperor Baifan's spells but also techniques belonging to Celestial Lords, making it an invaluable treasure for powerful cultivators. Because of this, Wang Lin guarded it with extreme caution. Situ Nan greatly benefited from the pavilion, and although his cultivation level remained unchanged, the celestial spells he mastered transformed him into an extremely formidable cultivator. Wang Lin himself had previously selected the middle-quality celestial spell Gather Spirit from the pavilion and later exchanged it for the assistance of the 3 Chen brothers, who accepted immediately after seeing its value. Now, Wang Lin searched the treasure pavilion again and selected 4 complete low-quality celestial spells suitable for the soul refining sect. Since the sect specialized in soul cultivation and soul flags, he chose techniques related to souls. Because ordinary disciples could not cultivate complete celestial spells directly, Wang Lin comprehended each spell first, then divided and simplified them into forbidden techniques suitable for the sect. Wang Lin generously rewarded Ouyang Hua for his centuries of loyalty by granting him the complete low-quality celestial spell Soul Refining Ascension. He did not give Ouyang Hua a middle-quality celestial spell because Ouyang Hua's cultivation was unusual. His true strength depended entirely on his 99 soul flags. With them, he could fight ascendant cultivators, but without them, his cultivation declined sharply. Even mastering Soul Refining Ascension would already be extremely difficult for him. For 13, Wang Lin spared no effort. He entered his celestial cave, obtained sufficient royal giant demon clan blood from Lei Ji, and immersed 13 in it. The process transformed 13's body through unbearable pain, yet he endured everything. Wang Lin then added several drops of his own royal ancient god blood between 13's eyebrows. The immense pain nearly overwhelmed even 13's extraordinary will as the blood reshaped his body. After surviving the transformation, 13 was reborn with an aura resembling that of a demon god. His physical body alone became strong enough to battle peak late-stage ascendant cultivators. And his future potential increased tremendously. Unsatisfied, Wang Lin refined numerous treasures and fused them into 13's body using methods similar to those used for celestial guards while carefully preserving 13's soul and consciousness. Enduring every step out of absolute loyalty to Wang Lin, 13 eventually obtained a body comparable to a silver celestial guard, capable of withstanding attacks from illusory yin cultivators while retaining his own mind. Making him fundamentally different from ordinary celestial guards, Wang Lin had watched 13 grow up and regarded him as his eldest disciple. Alongside Sea King from all heaven. Because of this, he was never stingy with him. Wang Lin selected the middle-quality celestial spell Celestial Soul, divided it into 3 parts, and taught him to 13. Once 13 fully mastered all 3 sections, he would be able to cultivate the complete Celestial Soul technique. Besides 13 and Donghua, several other leaders of the soul refining sect were also permitted to cultivate the specially prepared forbidden spells Wang Lin had created. Wang Lin did not interfere with the sect's daily management, allowing it to develop independently. He donated the majority of the treasures he had accumulated to establish the sect's treasure pavilion, instructing Donghua and the others to distribute them as rewards to disciples who made outstanding contributions. After completing these arrangements, Wang Lin fulfilled one of his long-held wishes and went alone to the stone statue behind the palace. The valley remained unchanged from hundreds of years earlier, when he had released ancient demon Beilu to devour the ancient demon spirit sealed there. However, the former ancient demon statue had been replaced by a black stone statue carved in Wang Lin's own image. As Wang Lin observed it, he felt the strange sensation that the statue was looking back at him, almost as if it possessed life. 13 had previously explained that the statue had originally been a crude carving made from memory by disciples who wished to honor their ancestor. At first, only those who had personally known Wang Lin could vaguely recognize it. Yet as the soul refining tribe expanded and countless disciples worshipped it every day, the statue gradually became smoother and more refined on its own. After hundreds of years, it had transformed into an almost perfect likeness of Wang Lin, even carrying the ancient aura accumulated from more than 1,000 years of his life. Unable to explain the phenomenon, 13 and the others believed it was the manifestation of their ancestor's spirit. The mysterious transformation greatly intrigued Wang Lin. Few things could arouse his curiosity, but he became determined to uncover the truth behind this statue. Standing before it, the sensation that the statue was gazing back at him became much stronger. Although the distant cheers of the soul refining sect still echoed throughout the valley, Wang Lin felt as though the entire world had fallen silent, leaving only himself and the statue. His eyes turned cold as he formed a sword seal with his fingers and slowly pressed them toward the statue's forehead. Wang Lin immediately sensed that the black stone statue was extremely ominous. As he pointed his right index finger toward its forehead, the statue's eyes emitted dark light, forming a strange rune between its eyebrows. The rune released black mist containing a mysterious force that blocked Wang Lin's finger. When his finger touched the rune, ripples spread out, awakening the mysterious power that had previously entered his divine sense. It spread across his origin soul like black ink. Wang Lin remained calm, activating the ancient god leather armor around his origin soul, which emitted green light, while his ancient thunder dragon origin soul roared. Instantly, endless thunder filled the sky above the fire demon country and rapidly expanded across more than half of the demon spirit land. The sudden phenomenon shocked cultivators and civilians alike, while demon generals and commander-in-chiefs realized the thunder was the result of an incredibly powerful spell rather than a natural event. Within seconds, all the thunder converged into the valley where Wang Lin stood, entering his body and empowering his ancient thunder dragon origin soul. The thunder relentlessly attacked the black ink within his origin soul. Although the mysterious force resisted fiercely, it had only entered Wang Lin in a small amount and had already been surrounded by origin energy. Gradually it was forced back into a single black dot. When it attempted to escape, the ancient god leather armor sealed every route of retreat, allowing the thunder dragon to unleash all accumulated thunder in one strike. Completely destroying the black dot, Wang Lin then shattered the rune with his finger and finally pressed directly between the statue's eyebrows. Wang Lin poured his peak mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivation and powerful divine sense into the statue. Determined to discover its true nature, his consciousness entered a strange realm filled with dense white mist. He immediately recognized the mist as the aura released from the heads of every soul-refining tribe member while worshipping the statue over the past hundreds of years. After spreading his divine sense through the mist, he detected something at the statue's center. His divine sense and cultivation formed an illusory body that traveled there. Hidden within the densest mist sat a figure identical to Wang Lin except for a pair of horns on its head. Recognizing the horns, Wang Lin immediately realized it was an ancient demon. The figure remained motionless with closed eyes while strands of white mist continuously entered its body. Aside from the horns, it possessed Wang Lin's exact appearance: cold temperament, loneliness, and over 1,000 years of Dao comprehension, making it almost impossible to distinguish from the real Wang Lin. After dispersing the surrounding mist, Wang Lin carefully examined the ancient demon and pieced together the truth. Ancient gods increased their cultivation by absorbing origin energy through god slaves. And since ancient demons belonged to the same ancient order clan, they possessed similar cultivation methods. The entire demon spirit land had been created to supply an ancient demon with energy. Ancient demon Beilu had once explained that he had been split into 9 parts, creating the 9 demon countries. Under the teachings of these ancient demon spirits, the inhabitants gradually learned cultivation methods, forming the 9 demon nations. Each ancient demon spirit ruled one country, continuously absorbing demonic energy from its people to restore itself while waiting for the chance to break its restrictions. Eventually, each intended to devour the others and reunite into a complete ancient demon. Wang Lin's alliance with ancient demon Beilu had completely changed this long-standing stalemate. With Wang Lin's assistance, Beilu left his own country, devoured the ancient demon spirit of the fire demon country, became the strongest among the remaining spirits, and gained the ability to travel freely. His ultimate goal was to digest each remaining spirit one after another until he became a true ancient demon again. Although Wang Lin had not known whether Beilu had succeeded, seeing this ancient demon that looked exactly like himself proved Beilu's success was incomplete. As a 5-star royal ancient god, Wang Lin immediately recognized that this was not a complete ancient demon spirit but only a weak remnant. Even weaker than one of the original 9 fragments. He also realized that the white mist produced by the soul refining tribe was actually faint demonic energy, explaining why every tribe member born within the demon spirit land unconsciously nourished the remnant. Standing beside the motionless ancient demon, Wang Lin pressed his finger between its eyebrows and searched his memories. He witnessed the cloud demon country under a clear sky when darkness suddenly descended and storm clouds gathered. A blood-colored figure rushed toward the royal 9-layered cloud demon tower. A shocked cry emerged from within the tower before a demonic voice declared that the 9 spirits had to reunite into one ancient demon to erase their regret, proclaiming that the restored ancient demon would bear the name Beilu. The blood-colored figure charged into the tower, and violent explosions shook the capital. Moments later, the tower collapsed. A blurred demonic shadow emerged from the ruins but was immediately surrounded and devoured by the blood light, revealing Beilu. After absorbing the cloud demon spirit, Beilu coldly mocked its weak cultivation, calling it a disgrace to an ancient demon. Before departing, with its ancient demon spirit gone, the cloud demon country collapsed. However, 3 days after Beilu's departure, an extremely weak shadow emerged from the ruins of the destroyed cloud demon tower. Filled with hatred and confusion, it cautiously drifted away. After escaping the collapse of the cloud demon tower, the cloud demon's remaining demonic sense lamented that it had been only 100 years away from completing the demon split spell. His main body had already been devoured, leaving this fragment like a rootless tree that could dissipate at any moment. Unable to remain in the ruined tower or enter another demon country to absorb demonic energy, the weak demonic sense wandered through the sky while continuously fading away. Its memories became increasingly blurred until it was on the verge of complete extinction. At the final moment, it sensed demonic energy below and instinctively flew toward the soul refining tribe. At that time, the tribe numbered only several 100,000 people, with only tens of thousands remaining in the tribe's territory while the others searched for soul fragments. Those present were fervently worshipping a black stone statue, releasing streams of demonic energy from their heads. The cloud demon's nearly extinguished demonic sense entered the statue, immediately regained vitality, and absorbed the surrounding demonic energy. Over time it stabilized within the statue, although most of its memories had already been lost or blurred, since it was only a fragment of demonic sense rather than the original cloud demon. Every strand of demonic energy it absorbed contained the worship and thoughts of the soul refining tribe directed toward Wang Lin. Initially it resisted these influences, but after the tribe's population exceeded 1 million, the endless worship gradually convinced it that its own name was Wang Lin and that it was the tribe's ancestor. After several hundred years of constant worship as the tribe expanded to millions of members, it completely abandoned its former identity. The stone statue slowly transformed into Wang Lin's appearance, and the demonic sense fully believed itself to be Wang Lin. Wang Lin raised his hand and looked at the ancient demon that looked exactly like himself. Combining his observations with his deductions, he fully understood what had happened. After thinking for a while, he decided not to waste such an opportunity. Since the ancient demon already believed it was Wang Lin, he would turn it into his second avatar. His original body was an ancient god. His first avatar was a cultivator, and now his second avatar would become an ancient demon. He even wondered whether he could one day create a third avatar as an ancient devil, allowing all three to fuse and possibly return to the ancient order. Filled with anticipation, Wang Lin withdrew his divine sense from the statue, returned to his body, sat down before the stone statue, and released essence origin energy to envelop it while placing numerous restrictions upon it. To transform the ancient demon into a true avatar, Wang Lin needed to refine it until it became completely synchronized with his mind, allowing his origin soul to replace or control it freely. Although force could subdue weak puppets, it was useless against a powerful being intended as an avatar. Normally such refinement required an extremely long time with little chance of success. And even then the avatar might eventually rebel. However, Wang Lin's situation was unique because the ancient demon already believed itself to be Wang Lin. He only needed to merge his divine sense with it and ensure the ancient demon recognized the original Wang Lin as the true master, thanks to his higher cultivation and his identity as an ancient god. Accomplishing this was not difficult. Nevertheless, Wang Lin acted with extreme caution. During the following days, he thoroughly integrated his divine sense into the ancient demon, branded it with an imprint, filled it with numerous restrictions that could suppress any rebellion instantly, and even applied Celestial Emperor King Lin's puppet control techniques. Only after establishing absolute control did he feel satisfied. Wang Lin examined the stone statue and felt it had become one with himself. However, he recognized that this second avatar still had major limitations. It possessed no physical body and could only exist inside the stone statue. Unable to separate from it, its attacks relied mainly on demonic sense, and its cultivation was only at the late ascendant stage. Still, it remained merely a fragment of an ancient demon. Given sufficient demonic energy, it could continue growing until it reached the true level of an ancient demon. Knowing such growth required patience, Wang Lin left the stone statue within the soul refining sect instead of taking it with him. After placing powerful protective restrictions around it, he instructed the soul refining sect to continue worshipping it so it could absorb endless demonic energy. He regarded this second avatar as a seed that was presently of little use but would become extremely valuable once it matured. With that, Wang Lin departed, hundreds of years after the Sky Demon country defeated the Fire Demon country. The enormous casualties from the war had left its population greatly diminished. Even the once thriving capital was no longer bustling. The streets still contained shops, but pedestrians were few and quickly came and went. Wang Lin quietly sat beside the river that flowed through the city, exactly where he had sat hundreds of years earlier. Everything appeared the same except there was no flower boat drifting along the water and no sorrowful zither music filling the air. Gazing at the empty river, Wang Lin felt melancholy and seemed to hear the faint echoes of the music from long ago, so weak that a single gust of wind could erase it forever. He recalled that without spending a night drinking with the Demon Emperor, he might never have seen the face of the woman who had played the zither. Even after all these years, he remembered only her lonely figure and the sadness contained in her music. As the sun slowly set, Wang Lin immersed himself in memories and reflected on how hundreds of years had passed in the blink of an eye. Time had washed away almost everything except his memories. He sighed that perhaps this was the tragedy of life, believing that time existed only because memories existed. Without memories, there would be no sense of time passing. Wondering whether Mo Lihai was still alive, he picked up a jug of wine purchased from the same shop as before. Although the label remained unchanged through generations, the taste had become different. While he bitterly remarked on the change, a calm and weary voice behind him explained that the descendants of the original brewer simply lacked their ancestors' skill. Wang Lin recognized the speaker without turning around and remarked that the Demon Emperor was no longer as carefree as he had been centuries earlier. The Demon Emperor, now a handsome middle-aged man with strands of white hair showing the passage of time, sat beside Wang Lin, handed him another wine jug preserved from the old days, and invited him to drink. Wang Lin immediately recognized that it was the original wine from centuries ago. The Demon Emperor explained that he had always believed Wang Lin would return one day, so he had saved enough wine for them to share. After drinking together, he jokingly asked whether Wang Lin felt lonely without hearing the zither music from the past. At that moment, the distant sound of a lonely, sorrowful zither slowly drifted across the river. A large boat approached, and seated at its bow, with her back facing Wang Lin, was the same woman quietly playing the zither. Wang Lin sat by the river holding a wine jug, watching a boat drift past while listening to the zither music. The melody reminded him of events hundreds of years earlier, but although the sound was the same, it lacked the spirit of the past because the performer was no longer the blind woman he once knew. After taking a drink, Wang Lin remarked that the Demon Emperor was thoughtful. The middle-aged demon emperor remained silent, and the two simply drank together through the night. As darkness covered the land without a moon, only the zither music and the boat's flickering lights remained. By sunrise, empty wine jugs surrounded Wang Lin. The demon emperor then revealed that ancient demon Bei Lu already knew of Wang Lin's arrival and had sent him with a message. Wang Lin had expected this, knowing that Bei Lu now ruled the demon spirit land and grew several times stronger each time he devoured an ancient demon spirit. Wang Lin finished the remaining wine as the demon emperor conveyed Bei Lu's proposal. If Wang Lin agreed to leave one place vacant for entering the 5th cave, 4 of the 9 demon countries would be given to the soul refining sect. Bei Lu would never interfere with the sect's affairs, and even the remnant demonic sense of the cloud demon would be left untouched. The black stone could deceive almost everyone but not ancient demon Bei Lu, who had allowed it to remain in the soul refining sect for hundreds of years while waiting for this moment. Wang Lin calmly accepted the offer. After completing Bei Lu's request, the demon emperor made a personal request. The sword spirit inside the emperor's sword was the daughter of an old friend. To escape death, she had become the sword spirit and had remained trapped within the demon spirit land for countless years. He asked Wang Lin to take her out so she could either enter reincarnation or encounter a new fate. Sword energy descended from the imperial palace carrying the emperor's sword. Wang Lin asked why he did not entrust someone else with the task. But the demon emperor explained that although countless cultivators had entered the demon spirit land, very few were worthy of his trust. And while he had once possessed the strength to protect the sword himself, he had missed the opportunity. Wang Lin sensed a faint aura of death from the demon emperor and realized his lifespan was nearly exhausted. Although the inhabitants of the demon spirit land lived longer than ordinary cultivators, they still had finite lives, and the demon emperor would likely die within 30 years. As an old acquaintance, Wang Lin agreed. The demon emperor smiled with relief and transformed the emperor's sword into a young girl whose eyes were filled with sorrow and reluctance. Treating her like his own daughter, he gently told her to behave and stop being so stubborn. After thanking Wang Lin with a respectful bow, he departed. The girl sadly gazed toward the imperial capital, knowing it was the last time she would ever see the demon emperor. She turned into green smoke, returned to the emperor's sword, emitted a mournful sword cry, and followed Wang Lin. Wang Lin stored the emperor's sword inside his storage bag, spread out his divine sense, activated the celestial cave token, and disappeared in golden light. Inside the 4th celestial cave, Sichu Nan and the others continued breaking restrictions. Numerous celestial treasures appeared as the restrictions were removed. Their cultivation allowed them to overcome the outer restrictions easily. But as they advanced toward the center, the restrictions became so profound that brute force alone was no longer sufficient. Understanding their principles was necessary. Wang Lin appeared on the platform outside the cave in a flash of golden light and immediately entered. He saw the broken restrictions along the way and soon found Sichu Nan's group. The 3 Chen brothers were meditating to recover after exhausting themselves breaking a restriction. Big Head displayed unexpected talent with restrictions and was directing Lei Ji in calculating how to dismantle one. Master Hollow Wind, who specialized in restrictions, served as the primary expert in breaking them, while Sichu Nan and the silver-clothed woman handled any dangerous reactions triggered by destroyed restrictions. Sichu Nan, who had become bored after spending several days there, greeted Wang Lin happily, since he knew little about restrictions and believed powerful cultivation should be enough to destroy them. He had grown impatient with his assigned role. Seeing Wang Lin return, he immediately decided to explore other parts of the cave for treasure instead of waiting. Entered a nearby bamboo forest, and disappeared. Wang Lin was unconcerned for Sichu Nan's safety because they had already devised a method to temporarily suppress the poison affecting him without requiring a female cultivator. And Wang Lin could rescue him if necessary. Wang Lin joined Master Hollow Wind, who pointed toward a small river about 100 steps ahead. Mist surrounded the river, and a stone bridge connected both banks as the only entrance. Master Hollow Wind explained that they had been blocked there for 5 hours. Despite repeated calculations, he could not decipher the restriction, and he believed using force would trigger an unimaginable chain reaction. The cave consisted of outer and inner layers, and crossing the river would lead into the inner region. Because the bridge's restrictions were too complicated, Big Head had suggested bypassing the bridge by breaking through the side and entering from the river instead. The 3 Chen brothers were still recovering, while Sichu Nan's original plan had been to wait until they recovered before combining everyone's strength to force a breakthrough. Though Master Hollow Wind doubted that approach. Privately, Master Hollow Wind believed Wang Lin's cultivation speed was astonishing for someone who had cultivated only a little over 1,000 years. But he assumed Wang Lin lacked deep knowledge of restrictions due to his limited cultivation time. He believed solving the problem would ultimately depend on himself and Big Head. After examining the stone bridge, Wang Lin frowned. He confirmed that Master Hollow Wind's judgment was correct. Forcibly breaking the restriction would indeed trigger a disastrous chain reaction. He also realized this was likely the first major obstacle before entering the cave's inner region. Beyond the obvious danger, Wang Lin sensed that the restrictions here differed fundamentally from those in the outer cave. Wanting to verify his suspicion through direct observation, Wang Lin called for the silver corpse. The silver-clothed woman immediately stepped beside him and waited for instructions. Without taking his eyes off the bridge, Wang Lin calmly ordered her to advance 10 steps. Master Hollow Wind frowned at what he considered an extremely reckless decision that might activate the restriction. But instead of objecting, he silently retreated several steps and carefully observed the outcome.